5, 7.
So we hinted at here at Linux and we talked about Windows. Oh, but the two have started to work together a little more.
Yeah, we talked about this before that they were working together.
Okay.
But now...
Okay, so now there's something new. What do you call it? After starting off with Ubuntu. So when Windows first launched the beta of using Bash in the Windows system, it automatically installed a version of Ubuntu shell. Not the GUI, the shell. Where you could run a lot of different software of Linux. Like you could run a lot of the pen testing software, the CPU checking software, all these little things like that you could do with Linux that you can't do with Windows was able to be done now. You could run Visual Studios, the program, to write programs. You could, and also you can go into Windows systems from your Linux terminal and change things with Bash, which was really interesting. And I never thought I'd see the day when I first saw that when we first talked about this. I never thought this would come to pass. Like something like this, Windows allowing something like this. But they did. And now they've expanded on it. So you now can use Windows subsystems allows a bunch of different runtimes of Linux, which is right now they allow Ubuntu, SUSE Linux, Debian, Kali, and a number of other choices I've never heard of.
People still use SUSE Linux?
But SUSE, yeah, it's pretty popular. What a lot of people don't realize is that Debian and Ubuntu are pretty much the same thing. They're not much different. Debian is the original version. Ubuntu is a break off of Debian. And Kali and SUS are a break off of the same one as well. So they're kind of similar. Kali is...
Does Studio still exist?
Ubuntu Studio, I'm not sure if when the last update happened, but it still exists. So Kali Linux is my personally favorite version of Linux for the most part, is because that's what, if you are going to pen test a system, that's the program of Linux you want. It has all the pen testing software already installed, especially if you want to work on a network that's having trouble, to find out if someone's hacked into the network, or if just the network just operating badly, or if someone's put some kind of spyware within your network. You definitely want to have Kali Linux to really do that pen testing, to find out what's going on, to really get into the system. So they're going to have now an open source tool to allow you to build your own version to put into Windows. So you can choose your favorite distro of Linux, and it'll use that distro of Linux. And like I said before, this is not the full GUI of Linux. This is the shell only. No graphical interface.
So it's like DOS and Win95.
Yeah, but the fact that you can use a lot of these tools that you only use in the terminal anyway in Linux, now you can use them in Windows. And it's working beautifully together. And I'm not sure why they do. I think, well, the main reason why, when I watched, there was a small video actually, one of the people from Microsoft was talking, and the main reason why they're doing it is because a lot of games and software is developed on Linux. A lot of code and stuff is written in Linux systems, and the main reason why Linux systems are a lot more secure than theirs, they run smoother. So now they can write those programs, run that software, and then go ahead into Windows and check it right on the same system. And they don't have to switch between, they can have both running right together. The one thing I do not know how it's working is how is it running Linux on, you mean NTFC? Like how is it, like, I'm not NTFC, that's a video format.
NTFS?
NTFS, yes. How is it, how is it running on that file system? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at exactly how this is working. Because we know that is not Linux file system. Linux file system is exit 4. So
I looked up Ubuntu Studio.
yes,
It's still going on, and there's some cool things. There is a complete digital audio workstation program like Audacity. It's called Audoor.
well, you could just use I have Audacity on this.
No, I know. I'm just saying. There's actually guitar amps built in, jack sessions, audio programming. Then there's Blender, Inkscape, GIMP are come with it.
Oh, they're automatically installed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying those things are really easy to install.
Yeah, it's just this is like what I tried installing like in 2012.
Oh, okay.
2011 on one of my old computers that I was getting rid of.
So that'll probably be a getTekt Byte.
Oh yeah.
Show the ease of people don't have to be afraid of Linux.
Yeah, because there's OpenShot, which is some kind of video editor for Linux. I bet it's got more than Windows in video editor.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
But that's pretty interesting.
For open source, yeah.
Yeah.
You can do, Linux is great. Don't be afraid of Linux, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably what every single developer that programs your favorite game or program has on their own personal computer. I guarantee it. Just about. So, because it's very, it's a code-friendly system.
Yeah.
I mean...
So now I got a question.
Yes.
Now that they're doing all this kind of stuff, besides the automatic downloading of certain things that you don't want, what is the reason to hate Windows?
The fact that the main reason to hate Windows is, for one, they run a bunch of stuff in the background that makes it, they say, more secure. Or to keep things running a little bit smoother. Or because of the graphical interface of how Windows looks nowadays. Oh, it's running that, it takes more RAM or whatever. All these statements are not true. It might be true for Windows itself, but it's bad programming, is what it is. And it takes up more resources for no reason.
But there's a whole bunch of people making Windows. How are they all bad programmers?
No, okay. You got, for one, with Windows, you have a whole team of people making Windows. A lot of people developing Windows in different sub-programs of Windows.
Now, are the head guys going, oh, we want to make sure all this stuff runs in the background?
Well, no.
What's the purpose of that?
It's how they're designing the system.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever way they design how Windows runs, those subroutines are running in the background to run other software or run other... Like if you go to under programs and features and check out system, what's running on your Windows system, I guarantee a lot of those things you don't need or never will use. And they make the assumptions that a lot of these people are going to use them. You're not going to use them. I'm sure Johnny Webb knows about it because he's the one, he in his own personal system shut most of those off, just like myself. Because they assume a lot of their users are going to be using these things, and it's like, no, how about you ask me after the fact? I'm not going to go ahead, I don't want those things on just by default. That's ridiculous. Don't assume that.
Okay, so now, besides aesthetics and cost, why is there a reason to hate Apple Macs?
There's no reason to hate Macs that much except for cost. Macs are a really well done system, and they don't gunk up their system with bloatware.
No,
at all. And the system barely uses any resources when
you
it's
get a
running.
lot of free stuff too. Like you get iMovie and what's the other one? Oh, Rock. What is it called?
Not Rock Band.
GarageBand.
GarageBand. That's it.
Yeah. So no, I give credit. Not Microsoft. Apple makes a really good operating system. It runs really smooth.
Yeah.
But it's also Unix based like Linux. But the only problem is the price. It just costs a shit ton.
Yeah. But they last a while.
Yeah. But their OS is open source as long as you have a iPad, an iTunes account, whatever, or a Microsoft, Apple account.
Well, the
upgrades are free.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're free. So there is that. So they have that going for them. Now, with Linux, you get the best of both worlds. You get an operating system that you can completely design. You can make it look like Windows all you want. That's fine. And it'll feel like Windows, how it runs. You can do that.
Yeah, but until recently, that's all you could do.
What do you mean?
Well, they didn't have as many games to play. They didn't have as many options to do other things that everybody else does with it.
Well,
so you could make the thing look cool and how you want it to look, but you couldn't game on it.
Well, the only thing you couldn't do is there wasn't a ton of games. But the one thing you could do really well for Linux, which any IT guy will tell you, is they used it for pen testing, because Linux is the system to do pen testing with, and it's been that way for many years. They're leader in what do you call IT support. So there is that main thing. But then Steam spearheaded completely 100% of getting the gaming market to Linux, and they've done an amazing job. Like, I can't believe how blown away I was when I first saw the new, after like almost 2 years of Dirt Rally being out, they do a major update saying we're now supporting Linux. A major company, a big game maker going, no, we're doing an update after our old game, and we're going to run full support on Linux. And other like Colossal Games now does most of their games support Linux.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these big developers, especially indie developers, they write their games on Linux. So of course now they're going, yeah, let's give me a Linux.
Yeah, well,
so,
a lot of games are coming out on Linux and Mac now, like a lot more than they used to.
Yes.
Like you could go on your Steam list and you'll be like, wow, look at all these games I can play on Mac now.
Yeah.
That they ported.
Yeah.
And I would say the one things I'm waiting for now, the one thing that will finally like really push it over the edge, for me to go goodbye Windows, is Adobe products to run natively on Linux, and then games like companies like Activision pushing
AAA titles.
Yeah, well, there's been AAA titles, but
now what about
some
like
of the
video editing programs?
Some of the companies that I like Activision coming over to Linux finally. Well, no, that's the thing. I've been messing around with one of the newer programs that came out on Linux not too long ago called Kden Live. That thing rivals what Vegas can do.
Really?
It's a really well done program, and it's completely open source and free.
Open source doesn't really mean much to me though, because I'm not gonna go tiddly-winking with that kind of crap.
Well, it means that you and other people
tiddly-winking.
Yeah, open source means you have free license to change what you want.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to do a new version of it, they can easily do that. And they're not nobody's gonna bitch about it.
Yeah.
Which is great. So yeah, and I would say for me, the day comes where Adobe and like Activision, Blizzard, well, they're owned by the same company actually.
Yeah.
Activision, Blizzard is the same company. Origin, when these game companies finally make that push and come over to Linux, yeah, I will hopefully say goodbye to Windows forever. Because they've never changed their ways. I recently put a version of Windows on my Windows 10 on my machine that someone slightly modified that has a whole bunch of that crap just ripped right off it. And it runs so much better. There's no need for it. So it took someone to literally go into Windows, the actual install file, and rip out a whole bunch of stuff to get it to actually run the way it should have been running on first install, and ask you later if you want those other things. Like, if anybody doesn't realize this, Windows normally installs, when they do updates, those games you uninstall that they reinstalled every time.
Hey, Microsoft, I do not want, nor will ever play Candy Crush. All right?
Yeah, but even when you remove Candy Crush, all the DLL files are still sitting there, running in the background.
Yes. Yeah, Linux it runs
ridiculous,
way smoother. Like, just on this laptop's in front of me right now, I get about 5 to 6 hours battery life easily running on Linux. I only get 3 on Windows at minimum settings. So it uses way less resources, and I can do everything I can do on the Windows.
Like, I bet I could get more time out of this laptop if
way more time.
Wiped it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you would get. Yeah. Especially if you installed that version of Windows that I have.
Bloatware that they put on here.
Yeah. So.
I can dig through that for you and get rid of it.
Nah, I'm just gonna wipe it out anyway. Because I don't have much on it yet. Because I've been wanting to wipe it out.
Yeah. No. So I would definitely.
Bloatware on it.
If you've never checked out Linux, hopefully we'll do a video soon. We're gonna show you how easy it is to get up running in Linux in like 2 seconds, and you can play a lot of if you're into indie games, there's no reason for you to be on Windows anymore if that's what you do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hopefully make a video showing you how easy it is. Get up and running. It will feel no different than Windows. It might even be smoother and more secure. Like, Windows still uses the old install packet like crap that's like really from 1995 crap that's been around, instead of repositories, which are a lot more secure and protects you against viruses, unlike Windows. So a lot of these things are archaic.
Yeah, that's, you're right, because even like XBMC uses repositories. when you jailbreak iPhones, they use repositories,
and those are a lot more secure. Your system can actually download that, and actually, it's in its own closed confinement, so your system can find a virus within there without it getting out, and ruining the rest of your system. It's a lot safer way of running and installing a software.
Mm-hmm.